Hello everyone, einen schönen Nachmittag nach Österreich. My name is Franz Rossler. I'm the fairly new Austrian Trade Commissioner here in Beijing. And it's my pleasure and honor to welcome you to this webinar called Building Industry in China. Of course, the building industry will hopefully be green, energy efficient, and timber. So this is kind of the theme for the next hour or so that we wanted to share with you. Green building has been a focus of our Außenwirtschaftscenter Peking for several years. We have been pursuing that, and this also shows some people in the audience. There are some people actually we can learn a lot from the other participants as well. So there are some good experts already of the Chinese situation here in the audience as well. So we can also actually learn from each other. So this is also, I think, a little bit the idea. We have prepared presentations from three very distinguished speakers that will give us, I think, a very, very good picture where we are. I'm briefly introduce them. We have Dr. Lo Ma from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Great to see Dr. Ma again. She actually brought also last year a delegation to Austria. So she's quite really, also familiar with the Austrian situation. So very, very good. Then we have the second speaker will be Dr. Manuel Schärfer. He will tell us from his own, from their own experience of a very, great building that was realized in Suzhou, Taichung, a net zero building with all the challenges and opportunities for this project. So real first-hand experience, very, very interesting. And then there are also in the audience several people from the timber industry, from wood construction, and it's great to have Mr. European Wood in China with us as well, Dr. Zhang Xiaoming, who has been, preaching timber construction and engineered timber for many years already here in China. So it's a very, very nice, I think, setup of the distinguished speakers. So in between, please feel free also to put some questions into the chat. We are not gonna later on. We also gonna give you all the floor, and this will not be recorded anymore, so that we can also discuss and chat. So, but in between, put some questions also please into the chat. Okay. Later on, you will of course get all the presentations, so that's also, you don't have to record everything. But without further ado, I think we start, and I'm going to give the floor to Dr. Ma. Dr. Ma, the floor is yours. Thank you. And we have to unmute, Dr. Ma. We have to unmute yourself. Great, thank you.
And I can start now?
Yes, please. That's please.
Okay.
All yours. All
okay. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to the organizer. And I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak at this meeting. My name is Ma Yishuo, and I am from Kangju Certification Center of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development of China. We usually call it small herd. The topic of my report today is future urban rural construction and green and low carbon drive. Next slide, please. Okay. Firstly, I would like to introduce that Kangju Certification Center is a comprehensive certification institute in the field of construction established in 2005 with the approval of MOHURD. Next, please. Yeah, it focuses on the green and low carbon aspects of the construction industry and carries out full industrial chain certification for products, buildings, and urban areas, cities. Next, please. Okay, from the perspective of the country's development situation, China is an important participant, contributor, and leader in the construction of global ecological civilization. and has proposed the strategic goal of carbon peak and carbon neutrality in 2020, and put forward quantitative targets such as the proportion of non-fossil energy consumption. Next, please. Specifically in our industry, the carbon emissions from the entire construction process are 5.1 billion tons of carbon dioxide, accounting for about 50% of the total national carbon emissions. The carbon emissions from building operation are 2.2 billion tons of carbon dioxide, accounting for about 21.7% of the total national carbon emissions. Therefore, the carbon neutrality target will be decomposed into the construction field unavoidably. So I think maybe building energy efficiency is a key driving force for achieving carbon peak and carbon neutrality. And I cite right here 3 words: chance, effectiveness, and quality. I think maybe the energy efficiency is a big trend of the construction development in China, but we have to make it very effective. That means we not just to say it, we must to do it, and do it to a high quality. Next, please. And it should be said that our Country Certification Center is the earliest and most important leaders and promoter of ultra-low energy consumption buildings in China. Since 2011, under the witness of the governments of China and Germany, we and the German Energy Agency, as the executing agencies of both sides, have been promoting the development of ultra-low energy consumption buildings in China. And in 2013, the first batch of demonstration projects began to be implemented. Next, please. Here are some representative projects. There are some residential buildings built to high standards. Maybe you can see in the screen in the right side is a residential district in Beijing, a high standards residential building, as well as affordable housing projects. And maybe you can see in the center of this picture, we have made some rural homestead projects. There are also zero carbon building projects constructed in the past 2 years. Next, please. And so far, we have built over 2 million square meters of ultra-low energy consumption buildings and certified more than 300 products suitable for this kind of building, achieving significant development in policies, standards, technologies, and products. Next. I would like to see that with the technological foundation of our 15 years of high energy efficiency buildings, the current trend of low carbon development in China is to focus on urban areas. That is to see the path to achieving the low carbon target has shifted from individual buildings to urban areas. Next, please. In the January in last year, Xiong'an, I think maybe you know that a new city in China, in Hebei province, Xiong'an has announced the construction of a model city for green development. And in the February in last year, the Beijing Urban Subcenter in Tongzhou district, maybe you know that, Beijing Urban Subcenter announced that it would be built as a national green development demonstration zone. And in subsequence, in August, in Tianjin, there is a Sino-Singapore Tianjin Eco-City. This Eco-City has announced its intention to be built as a national green development demonstration zone as well. It is worth mentioning that starting from 2022, in order to promote low carbon development, the Mohe and the Hainan provincial government have jointly established the Boao Zero Carbon Demonstration Zone. Next. Yeah, the demonstration area in Boao includes Dongyu Island and organic fruit and vegetable supply base for agriculture and photovoltaic complementation outside the island, and a material recycling treatment facility and 2 green transportation connection stations. Following the 4 major construction concepts of regional zero carbon, resource recycling, natural environment, and smart operation, 8 types of low carbon technology integration have been carried out. Next. And 18 renovation projects have been completed. This 18 renovation project includes ecological transformation of garden landscape and low carbon renovation of buildings, utilization of renewable energy, construction of new power systems, green transformation of transportation, treatment of solid waste resources, recycling of water resources, and intelligent operation. After 2 years of construction, next please. Yeah, after 2 years of construction, the Boao Zero Carbon Demonstration Zone officially entered into the operational phase on March 18, 2024. The operation results show that the total renewable energy generation on the island exceeds the total electricity consumption, and the island's power generation can not only meet its own needs, but also transmit electricity to the grid. And on March 18, 2025, the working group of Boao decided to change the name of Boao Near Zero Carbon Demonstration Zone to the Boao Zero Carbon Demonstration Zone. And next, please. In summary, under the background of carbon neutrality, there are 4 development trends in China's urban and rural construction. One is to move from simply improving building energy efficiency to comprehensively enhancing building quality. And the second is to develop from ultra-low energy consumption buildings to zero carbon buildings. The third is to shift from new construction to existing building renovation and carry out ultra-low energy consumption renovation for a large number of existing buildings. And the fourth is the transformation from individual buildings to integrated low-carbon urban areas. In the end, next please. In the end, carbon neutrality is China's national strategy and a necessary path for sustainable development, with the transformation of urban energy becoming an important driving force for a new round of technological renovation, we believe that green and low carbon development is also an important driving force for urban and rural construction. And that's all. Thank you.
Great presentation, Dr. Ma. Thank you so much. I didn't know 50% is the CO2 emission of the building sector in China. And I think we're all in the same boat. Also, we're also talking in Europe, of course, about, districts, not only looking into buildings anymore. And building renovation is a big challenge in Austria and in China too. But it's so good to have in Dr. Ma someone, who really opens the doors, shares her experience, and is interested, in the best available technologies and cooperation. For that, we would also really, really like to thank you, Dr. Ma. Thank you. So now we're gonna look, we got now the general big picture, what China wants to achieve, what it has done so far. And now we're gonna nail it a little bit down how that really works in practice as well, yeah. And Mr. Manuel Schärfer will tell us more about energy efficiency design and construction in China, and also share some concrete project experience with us. Thanks so much, Manuel, for sharing for joining us today. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Rösler. I think you can hear me correctly.
Yes.
Okay. Very good, nice. I only correct you. You almost twice made me a doctor, and I cannot claim that.
Also, you look like one. You look so sophisticated. Yes. Okay. Good.
I should be one. Maybe you can arrange some honorary doctorate for me. I just introduce myself quite shortly. I'm Manuel. I live in China for now a little bit more than 20 years. I'm with a company called Urban Development Design. And yes, I'm sitting here in Taizong, that's close to Suzhou and just a stone throw away from Shanghai, in the only certified premium passive house office building outside of Europe. So there are 4 in the world. 1 is here in Taizong. The other 3 are scattered around Europe, 1 in Germany, 1 in Austria, I think, and 1 in Spain, to my knowledge. And next, please. I have the obligation to give you a short company introduction. Next. So Urban Development Design Group has offices all over China in all 4 major regions, but the headquarters are in Dalian. Dalian is in northeastern China, but I myself, as I mentioned, I'm just next to Shanghai. Next. Our company UDD started in the early 2000s, when it was privatized just as a really conventional design institute. Then in the 2010s, we turned into a full-fledged EPC provider, turnkey service provider. And now the next step for the company is to become a zero carbon building technology company. So that means that in all our projects that we do, over all the different sectors, we will put in as much of zero carbon design and energy efficiency as possible. Next. We also organize the Chinese Passive House Designer Conference once a year. The next will be, I think, in November in Beijing. Next, please. So, so much for the company. Next is a short introduction of the building I'm sitting in right now. That's the NZBB number 1. NZBB stands for Net Zero Building Base. That's a big name. Building base because this here consists of 2 buildings, but only number 1 has been built so far. Next. This is a picture from last year. You can see from the outside, it looks like a very, let's say, German, Austrian, energy efficient building, nothing fancy and totally covered in photovoltaics. But the beauty of it lies, as so often, in the detail. Then these different certifications I mentioned already, it is Passive House Premium certified. And we're very proud, and you can see it also behind my back there, to have been granted the Austria Green Planet Building Award. And that's thanks to David Miculek, who I'm not sure is now in the audience. And he is our partner in this project, and he is from Vienna. So that's how we deserved this nice award from Austria. Next. I give a short overview of some what I consider core energy efficient technologies that we or design principles that we fulfilled here in this building. I hope through these pretty quickly because for let's say European eye, this is quite run-of-the-mill and standard, but not so in China. This here is now our plot from above, and the first item here has nothing to do with energy efficiency, but with water conservation, because this whole area is a sponge city, so all the water is kept on the plot in the soil, all the surface is water permeable, and where you can see the 3 arrows, the colors here changed a little bit. In my presentation, those were blue, but they are all drained, run into a 60 cubic meter cistern. From there, they go into a smaller cistern where this water is filtered, and then it is brought back into the building and serves as water for flushing the toilets. That is rainwater reuse. Next. Our exterior walls, that's also pretty standard, classical attic system. We have 200 millimeter ACC walls, so that's foam concrete or beton with EPS insulation in 2 layers, 200 plus 150 millimeters, and this brings us U values of the main building of 0.086 and the technical room on top of 0.16 watts square meter Kelvin. Thank you. Next. And these is a more detailed look where we put especially special attention to was during construction to have all the details, the design details, also then put into place, like the strip, like these strip profiles. Yeah, and if any one of you has been in China before, these kind of exterior wall systems are not often seen, and I have to say not in this quality. We're pretty happy, and it's still white as maybe not the first day, but the third. Next. Heating and cooling is done with a tap system, a thermal activated building system. So this is also quite standard, especially in public buildings in Europe. We have 250 millimeter strong concrete floor slabs. Right in the center are these water pipes, and these are fed with cold water during summer times, warm water during winter. And what makes them so energy efficient is the relatively low temperatures during winter time. The supply water temperature is around here. It's given as 30 degrees, but actually it's more like 27, 28 during winter. And in summer, where we have the most energy needs, the most energy demand for cooling, the supply temperature is 18 degrees, and we cool down to a room temperature of around 24 degrees. So this small delta makes it energy efficient. And the other specialty here is our control and steering system. That is an algorithm that predicts what each of these tap zones, each of these pipes of a single office space needs for the next day. And then the circulation pumps runs only for a few hours, 3, 4, 5 hours, and then it is turned off. And the rest of the 10, 12, 13, 14 hours, it's just passively radiating heat or sucking up the warmth, the energy during summer. That's how we gain a lot of energy efficiency. Next. Let's look into our technical room. Next. And then we have the ACU. The ACU is The AHU is designed for our climate here. I have to specify a little bit. We here in what in China is called the climate zone of hot summers and cold winters. But cold winters here means that we have a couple of weeks during winter time where it is around 0 degree. 0, maybe sometimes -3, 4, 5, but usually it hovers around 0 degrees. So that's the given here as cold. So not as cold as in Austria, let's say, or in Germany. So we see the outside air, that's the green arrow, comes in, and now it passes through the first heat recovery rotor. And this will, in summertime, when we have, let's say, 35 degrees temperature, air temperature, this will pre-cool it down a little bit. And next is the cooling coil. In the cooling coil, the dehumidification happens, which is here needed badly. We have in summer, even at temperatures around 35 degrees, still a relative humidity of the outside air of over 80. So a lot of water in this air has to be gotten out. And then we have a very dry but also very cool air with only 12, 13, 14 degrees Celsius. So we then heat this air up again, but also with the return air temperature, and come out then of the second heat recovery wheel with around 20 degree cool air, which is very pleasant. And then we pass this into our office, into our offices. Next. Of course, external shading, all fully automatic, also developed by ourselves. And then we have on the left our small weather station, which is important for our taps control system. Next. Good. Now the third point, and this is our building here was done with about, and it's now been in operation for 2 years. Roundabout a little bit more than 2 years, but we have built it during COVID and with more than 80% of locally sourced materials, technologies, and of course construction workers. So it is not like in the past that these high performance building need to be very expensive and need a lot of imported foreign technology. The China market can now provide most of these and in very good quality. So the question is often, why are not more buildings built like this? And a lot of buildings are just not like this. And why? And I scratched my head. And then next, please. I found a document. And this document is the Jiangsu Province 2021 Design Standard for Thermal Environment and Energy Saving in Residential Buildings. So this is the baseline standard for energy efficiency. In theory, every building here built, every residential building in Jiangsu Province should adhere to this standard. And what we can see here is that the required U value of exterior walls of residential buildings, and now they have 2 categories. One is 6 or more stories, so higher buildings, and 5 or less smaller buildings. And they differ a little bit because smaller buildings, of course, have a worse surface to value ratio. So for the bigger buildings, we need a U value of between 0.7 and 0.8 watts per square meter Kelvin. And for smaller buildings, this has even to be lower, 0.5. If we compare it to the now current German building energy law standard, this is the baseline in Germany for new buildings, the U value has to be 0.24, so much lower. But anyways, so in China, at least small buildings 0.5 or higher buildings 0.7. Next slide, please. The other figure is the U value required for windows, which I picked out. And there's a lot of numbers, but in general, these have to be at least 0.8 to 0.6 or lower, these U values. So it is not a very high target, to be honest. Again, the German standard requires 1.3. Next. So 10 days ago, I made a bike ride in Taizang, and I discovered this construction site. And if we have a closer look at it, this is clearly a 6-story or a higher building. What we cannot detect here is any exterior wall insulation. There is none. And just believe me, there is also no interior insulation. It's just not. And the windows also are not of that standard that might fulfill 1.6 or 1.8 U values. So how can this be? What here is what they currently do at this construction site is they finish the exterior wall with aluminum cladding. So there will not be any insulation. Next, please. Same day, a slightly different location, but also in my neighborhood, now a small building. This is a classical, like in more rural areas. These buildings are not done by developers. These are done by private people who can build on their own. So this is a small 3-story building, and these red bricks, they are pretty common here in this region. And if we have a look at this window in the middle, this is clearly also not a window that will fulfill these requirements. And on the left, this picture, we can see they're just finishing the surface of the wall. There is no insulation at all. Next, please. So the question is, there might be a possibility, and that is, it could be a really thick, massive wall. So you can reach, with growing thickness, you can reach a U value of, let's say, 0.67 without any additional insulation. But this photo here, if you have a close look, it surely proves this is a 240 millimeter wall, because that's the length of the brick. And I calculated, I took my PHPP calculation and just put it in, and that comes out a U value of 1.087. So 1, clearly not 0.5 or even 0.7 or 8, right? Next, please. So the question, and this is also interesting, this is an appendix of this standard, of this building code for windows. So different materials, different thick sizes, and then the glazing, that's the column in the middle, that's the glazing. And if you have a close look, you see that all these glazing suggestions, these are all triple layered glazings. So this in China is really uncommon, especially here in this area. I never saw any new development who uses triple layered glazing to reach these U values. So the question is, how can these buildings be illegal? And I asked my colleague, and she said, well, there is one possibility. If a local standard is more strict than the national standard, then someone could opt for the national, more lenient standard. But that's just hearsay. So next, please. There's also another thing that's called a trade-off judgment. And as I understand it, it is that if your building in one part doesn't quite meet the expectations, then you can trade it a little bit with other parts. And I picked here number 4 that says if the U value of the exterior wall doesn't meet the requirements, then at least the roof and the windows should meet these requirements. But as I told you in these examples that I saw with my own eyes, that's not the case. Both of them don't meet the requirements. Next, please. Yeah, and that leads still to the question. The standards are there, the requirements are there, but how people find these loopholes to circumvent them, I just have no clue. The colors here are now a little bit weird. They were different in my presentation, but doesn't matter. This sounds rather harsh when I say, why do projects fail? With fail, I just mean that they don't meet the expectations we all had in them. And that is because different parts during a project fail at different stages. And for example, thermal bridge design is not a common thing in normal architectural companies here in China. It is not considered. Also in HVAC, energy recovery, it comes, but it is still a can, and then the quality is also not clearly defined. And then a lot happens during construction management. This is the first 3 stages. So the insulation, if there's any, door and window installation, poorly done, no air tightness. These are all factors which lead that not only don't they meet the requirements on paper, in my opinion, but these buildings are performing poorly in reality. And I have a couple of friends who bought newly apartments, 2 or 3 years old. They all have the nice amenities like ground heating. They have fresh air systems, everything nice. But during winter, the apartment doesn't get warm. During summer, it doesn't cool down. And the heating and cooling bills are about the amount you would pay in Germany, where we have 5 times higher energy prices. That's the reality. And if anyone has an idea how to correct that, then I'm eager to hear. But I hope we have a lot of discussions later on. You can find me. Per email. We can have a virtual tour here in this building and continue the conversation. I thank you very much. Next slide, but that's only the bye-bye.
Thanks so much, Manuel. So where is the regulation side you portrayed, but in reality, maybe also like in Austria sometimes, but in reality it looks quite different, you know. So it was very, very interesting to see this first-hand experience of building projects. Third, but not last speaker, I would like to ask now Mr. Zhang Xiaoming to join us again. I can't see him yet. Here he is, yes. And Mr. European Wood. So maybe timber might be the solution for China. And I think Mr. Zhang has done so much, you know, to work on bringing European wood experience to China. This is also done in cooperation. You know, European Wood has like several organizations that are behind. From the Austrian side, it's also the Fachverband der Holzindustrie of the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber, WKÖ. So you have at least a third of an Austrian head anyway on today. Yeah, Mr. Zhang, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Xiaoming Zhang, and I've been working for European Wood for more than 20 years in China. So next, please.
Mr. Zhang, maybe you have 2 screens. Maybe you look. At the moment, you're looking at a different screen, maybe, yeah? Or okay.
Yes.
No, it's fine. We saw you before. Yeah, we saw you before.
Okay. Yeah. So I would introduce a little bit for European Wood. And European Wood had been in China for many years, and so far we have organizations from 3 core countries, as you can see, Austria, Finland, and Sweden, and we have an office in Beijing. And 2 years ago, we had a new strategy to extend our platform, that we set up a digital platform, WeChat and Industry Wiki. And by this way that we reached many wider Chinese target groups. So now we have several thousand Chinese readers every month, and this platform has proven to be the most active platform in China market at the moment. Next, please. You can see that we have our WeChat and Enterprises Industry Wiki, and we have a professional team both in Europe and in China to transfer knowledge and information by this platform, both to China market and European and our member companies as well. Next, please. And European Wood, we have been focusing on the building regulations since the beginning. And so at the moment, we still take it as one of the most important tasks in China market. And so far, European Wood, we have been engaged in more than 35 code and standards related to wood products and wood construction in China. And mainly we cooperated with MOHURD and some other ministries concerning fire protection and also the forestry segment. And for time being, European Wood, we are helping the Chinese side to make new CLT and ADVL technical standard. And I estimated the CLT technical standard will be finalized the end of this year, and ADVL standard will be started the beginning of next year. Normally, the standard will last for, let's say, the process will last for 3 to 4 years. And so the code and standard system in China for wood construction seem to be completed very soon. And with this package, we hope the wood construction in China will becoming more and more encouraging, as wood construction is listed as equally as a concrete structure and steel structure in China. Next page. And we have some key member companies from different countries, and some of them, they are very active in China market. And of course that some companies had achieved a great lot, and not only export the material elements and technology, and also they have finalized and achieved their goals by cooperation with Chinese side and for some projects already. Next page. So these projects are just some of the examples for European companies, and mainly from Austria. And these projects are really, really big projects in the past 6 years. And you can see that it covers a number of types, from the botanical garden in Taiyuan, by conference centers in Chengdu, by office buildings in Shandong, and by an expo in Chengdu. And there, of course, there are some other applications and products by European companies as well. But that means that with efforts with the European Wood and European companies, that we have, pushed the market to a high level. You know that 20 years ago in China, that they only had very, very small projects with small houses, 1 to 3 stories. And now that they can see the new material, new system, new technology from Europe can help them to build up big projects like in Europe. And some scales are even bigger than some European countries. I mean, the highest and the span, like the last one, Expo, it's almost 120 span. I mean, the meters is very, very, very long. And next page. And just some detail, have a close look at some of the projects I mentioned. And at the last page, there's the office building in Shandong. Next page. This is the botanic garden in Taiyuan. It looks very attractive. It is reported a lot of visitors every day to this site. It's a very large span-glulam structure. Next page. There's the Expo project just finished 3 years ago by the Austrian companies. It's a fire pavilion, and very, very interesting and nice looking. It's also many visitors every day. And with these projects, and we cannot leave the support of code and standard. Next page. So the most important code standard is the fire. The fire is the key and also the bottleneck for the development and promotion of wood construction in China market. And the new revision, actually the draft has been finished for 4 or 5 years, but it has not been published. So we have been waiting for that. And I hope this year it will be issued and published by the government. Next page. From this table, you can see in the new fire code, timber structure will be allowed to 8-story and 32 meters high. That means that in China, with timber, they can construct, the multi-story and even a little bit higher construction. Next page. And so far, the main applications of wood construction in China are for several types: residential buildings, leisure and resort buildings, complex. We call it's a part of the, let's say, public buildings, and this part has been increasing greatly, and at the moment to be the largest part for wood construction. Education and sports buildings and traditional buildings like churches, pagoda, and temples, etc. Next page. Some illustration of the different types of wooden construction in China. We can see that from the old temples to wooden villas for the tourist centers, sales centers, sports centers, swimming, and also the last one is a very new project. It's for hospital. It's the largest scale hybrid projects in Jiangsu province. And so we can see that multi-story and high-rise wood construction is still missing. It is in the early stage in China because of the barriers and of fire regulations, and also that in Europe we use CLT for multi-story and high, especially for high-rise, but the CLT standard in China is not finalized yet. We hope that will come very quickly. And so because of the carbon pressure for China, so from the government and from industry, they are also making efforts to seek new solutions and via low carbon prefabrication, hybrid, safe, low energy, green, intelligent, comfort, etc. Just last month, that very important policies and standards had been issued by Moherd. One is that the residential building standard is issued. That means all residential houses will have to reach high standard and with high quality. For example, the height must be more than 3 meters and more suitable for old people. Of course, there are some other requirements and properties and requirements, and they will be very good to use timber for some applications. And also the new policy, the glue-lam system, CLT system, post and beam wooden system are on the first application list of prefabrication building system issued by Moherd, that they will be replicable and scalable. And so in this direction, more carbon calculation and good house and standards and specifications are in process by the government. So it is a good opportunity for modern wood construction in China. Next page. Next page is very, oh, sorry. Okay, not this one, the next one. Okay, this is the last slide, but the most interesting because under current economic situation that some leading state-owned all we call the giant companies in China. They are stepped in the market for modern wood construction, like China Construction Group, like from the building segment, China Forestry Group from the forestry segment. So they are planning for more big projects in China market. Like the China Construction Group, they are planning several big multi-story and high-rise residential projects in Wuhan. And also what I'm showing on the screen is a cultural center in Wuhan by China Construction Group. And it's a theater and concert hall, it's complex. And so I hope this project will become in reality very soon. And the China Forestry Group, they have a project of 12-story high-rise buildings in Shanghai. So they have finished all the design, and construction, I hope, will be started. And all these, they will go to modern engineering wood system like glulam CLT. So in this case, I do believe that modern timber structure with modern engineering wood in China market has encouraging future. Just we make efforts together, and we do hope that European companies can do more in China market. Thank you.
Very good summary as well, Mr. European Wood, Mr. Zhang Xiaomin. So encourage us all, and there are actually several people in the room, you know, that are leaders in this field, that have been working in China and are ready to continue. But we need organizations like you and the ministry. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you 2 slides from my side, and then we're gonna do a short summary. We're also gonna have the China Housing Expo, which is gonna be organized again by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development in October. A small Austrian booth again, like last year. So together with Ms. Ma, we're gonna try to recruit also some Austrian companies. We'll get you updated once we know the exact date. And we also published with some insights. We will also share that later on with you. We updated our core report, you know, on green building, which also has some important links and organizations in there.